Today we were looking at Unit 4, Lesson 10, Tax and Tip. So this is the first problem. We're on vacation and want to buy a pair of sunglasses for $10 or less. I find a pair with a price tag of $10. So I go up to the cashier and the cashier says the total cost will be $10.45. So what do we notice? What do we wonder? We notice that the final price was 45 cents more than the tagged price. And we talked about sales tax, and it's a money paid to the government on certain items. And we talked about how in different states, different amounts of sales tax are charged. And in the state of Pennsylvania, the tax rate is 6%. So we thought, well, what's the tax rate here? And if we look at the sunglasses versus the extra amount, or the tax amount, the sunglasses were $10 and the tax was 45 cents. The sunglasses, that's our original 100%. So we can figure out what the tax rate is by finding the percent. And so if we find our constant of proportionality, 45 cents divided by 10 gives us 0.045. And then we multiply that constant of proportionality by 100. We find that the tax rate for wherever we're on vacation is 4.5%. And so we just looked at some items, different cities. Sometimes a city will also charge a sales tax. And we were buying some items in this particular city. And we can see the paper towels had a sales tax of 48 cents. So what did we multiply 8 by to get 48 cents? Well, 0.48 divided by 8 is 0.06. And if we try 25 times 0.06, we end up with $1.50. And so finding the pack of gum, if we multiply by 0.06, we get 6 cents. And we multiply 12 by 0.06, we get 72 cents. Now to find the total, well, the total is just the price plus the tax. That gives us $26.50 total for the lamp, $1.06 total for the pack of gum, and $12.72 total for the laundry soap. And then we had this X down here. So if we follow the pattern and we multiply X by 0.06, we get 0.06X. And then the total cost was the price of the item, X, plus the tax, 0.06X. Or if we look at, well, what happens if I multiply 8 by something to get $8.48? We end up with 1.06. And likewise, 2650 divided by 25 is 1.06. 1 times 1.06 is 1.06. And 12 times 1.06 is $12.72. So we could also say the total cost is 1.06x. So 6% of the item, we're just looking at the tax amount. And then the total, well, the decimal, the constant proportionality is 1.06. 100% times 1.06 gives us 106% of the item. And then we went to a restaurant, and Jada has a meal. She adds up the price list on the menu for everything that was ordered and gets a subtotal of $42. And so subtotal is just the total before the tax or tip. When the check comes, it says they also need to pay $3.99 in sales tax. What percent of the subtotal is the sales tax? So if we make a table, we have our subtotal and we have our tax. The subtotal comes first. That's my 100%. My tax, I don't know what percent that is. The subtotal is $42. The tax was $3.99. So finding my constant of proportionality, $3.99 divided by 42 gives us 0.095. And so if we multiply that by 100, we end up with 9.5%. After the tax, the total is $45.99. What percentage of the subtotal is the total? So subtotal still comes first, and then the total. Subtotal is still my 100%, and it's still $42. The total was $45.99. So if we find our constant of proportionality, $45.99 divided by 42 gives us 1.095. We multiply that by 100. 1.095 times 100 gives us 109.5%. So this is kind of like our increase. It's 100% plus the tax percent. They actually paid $52.99. The additional $7 is a tip for the server. What percentage of the subtotal is the tip? So we have the subtotal and the tip. The subtotal of the subtotal, that's my original amount, 100%. Tip percent is what we're trying to find. Subtotal dollars is still 42. Tip is 7. Constant proportionality is 7 divided by 42, which gives us 0.16666 repeating. And if we multiply that by 100, we end up with 16.7% for the tip. So we're at this restaurant. The tax rate is 9.5%. We know the subtotal is $24.95. So we have the subtotal and we have this tax. Subtotal is 100%. We're just finding the sales tax, not the total. So we're going to use the 9.5%, making our K value 9.5 divided by 100, or 0.095. And so we take our 24.95 times 0.095, and we end up with 2.37025. But we're talking about money, so 2 decimal places. Look over, that's a 0, so it's going to be $2.37. Another person's sales tax is $1.61. How much was their subtotal? Now we're working backwards. Subtotal and tax. Subtotal is still 100%. The tax rate is 9.5%. We don't know the subtotal. We know the tax is $1.61. My K value, 9.5 divided by 100, is 0.095. But now I'm working backwards, so we're going to do $1.61 divided by 0.095, and we end up with 16.94736.842. And we need to round for money, 2 decimal places. I need to look over here. That's a 7, which means I need to round to $16.95. Sales tax, we're not adding. If we're doing the total, it's 100% plus the tax rate.